Have you ever seen a car that just stops you in your tracks? One that looks fast even when it's standing still? Today, we're diving deep into the story of one such automotive legend, the Austin-Healey 3000. This is just a car. It's a piece of British motoring history, a symbol of post-war optimism, and an absolute icon of the swinging 60s. So, buckle up, because we're about to go on a journey back in time. To understand the 3000, we first need to talk about the man behind the name Donald Healey. Healey was a brilliant rally driver and automotive engineer. After World War II, he saw a gap in the market for an affordable, high-performance sports car. He started the Donald Healey Motor Company and began building cars in his small workshop. His first major success was the Healey 100, which debuted at the 1952 London Motor Show. It was a sensation. The story goes that Leonard Lord, the head of the massive British Motor Corporation, or BMC, saw the car and was so impressed that he made a deal with Healey right there on the show floor. And just like that, the Austin-Healey brand was born. The Healey 100 was named because it could hit 100 miles per hour, a serious benchmark back then. This partnership was a game changer. Healey brought the design and performance know-how, while Austin and BMC provided the mass production capabilities and the parts bin. This combination led to the Austin-Healey 100-6, which introduced a more powerful six-cylinder engine. It was a great car, but it was just the warm-up act. For the main event, in 1959, the world was introduced to the Austin-Healey 3000. It was an evolution of the 100-6, but the changes were significant. The biggest update was under the hood. The engine was bored out to 2.9 liters, or just under 3,000 cubic centimeters, hence the name 3000. This new C-Series engine produced around 124 horsepower. That might not sound like a lot by today's standards, but in a car that was relatively lightweight, it was enough to deliver thrilling performance. The first version, known as the Mark I, came in two body styles: a two-seater, the BN7, and a 2+2, the BT7. The 2+2 had tiny rear seats, really only suitable for small children or weekend bag, but they added a touch of practicality. One of the key upgrades for the 3000 was the addition of Girling front disc brakes. This was a huge improvement in stopping power over the old drum brakes and was essential for a car with this level of performance. Visually, the Mark I was stunning. It had that classic long hood, short deck profile, a wide, smiling grille, and those beautiful, flowing lines. It was the quintessential British roadster. Driving one was a raw, visceral experience. The exhaust note was a deep, guttural roar that became one of the car's defining characteristics. It was loud, it was a bit brutish, and people absolutely loved it. They quickly earned the nickname the Big Healey to distinguish them from the smaller Austin-Healey Sprite. The Big Healey wasn't just a pretty face, though. It was a formidable competitor on the racetrack and in international rallies. Names like Pat Moss, sister of the legendary Sterling Moss, and Ann Wisdom became rallying heroines, piloting these powerful machines through some of the toughest events in the world, like the grueling Alpine Rally and the Ledrome Liege. These Healeys were tough. They slid through gravel, flew over crests, and powered through mud, proving their durability and performance. This competition's success cemented the 3000's reputation as a serious sports car and was a huge marketing boost. In 1961, Austin-Healey introduced the Mark II, the early Mark II, the BN7, and BT7 brought some refinements, including a triple-SU carburetor setup that bumped horsepower up to 132. It was a bit more complex to tune, but it gave the car a bit more punch. However, a more significant change came later in 1961 with the introduction of the BJ7 model. This is where the 3000 started to shift its character slightly. The BJ7 was a convertible, not a roadster. What's the difference? The BJ7 had a proper, permanently attached folding soft top and roll-up windows, replacing the primitive side curtains of the earlier models. This made the car much more civilized and user-friendly for daily driving. It was a move away from the hardcore sports car and towards a more comfortable Grand Tour. To simplify production, the two-seater option was dropped. All subsequent 3000s would be two. The evolution continued, And in 1963, the final and most refined version of the Big Heeley arrived. The Mark III. Under the hood, the engine received a new camshaft and upgraded carburetors, boosting power to a very healthy 150 horsepower. This meant the Mark III was the first Heeley 3000 capable of reaching a top speed of 120 miles per hour. The suspension was also revised with increased ground clearance to address one of the common complaints about the earlier models, which were notorious for scraping their exhaust on bumpy roads. Inside, the Mark III was a different world. It featured a beautiful wooden dashboard, a center console, and more comfortable seats. It felt less like a stripped-out racer and more like a proper luxury sports tourer. It was the perfect car for a stylish weekend getaway. The combination of raw power and newfound refinement was intoxicating. The BJ8 was a huge success and became the best-selling of all the 3000 models. So, what was it actually like to drive one? An adventure. You sat low in the car, feeling connected to the road. The steering was heavy, the clutch was firm, and the non-synchro first gear on the early models required some skill. The cockpit could get incredibly hot from the engine and transmission tunnel, earning it the nickname the Hot Box. It wasn't a car for the faint of heart. It demanded your full attention, but the reward was an incredibly engaging and thrilling driving experience. That big six-cylinder engine provided a wave of torque, and the sound, that glorious thunderous exhaust note, was an essential part of the Heeley character. Despite its success, the writing was on the wall for the Big Heeley. By the mid-1960s, safety regulations, particularly in the crucial American market, were becoming much stricter. The Heeley's design, which dated back to the early 50s, simply couldn't be adapted to meet these new standards without a complete and costly redesign. Furthermore, the partnership between Donald Heeley and BMC was coming to an end. In 1967, after a production run of nearly 43,000 cars, the last Austin-Heeley 3000 rolled off the assembly line. It was the end of an era. The world of sports cars was changing, with new, more modern designs emerging. But the Big Heeley had already made its mark. Today, the Austin-Heeley 3000 is one of the most beloved and sought-after classic cars in the world. Its timeless design, motorsport pedigree, and raw driving pleasure have captivated generations of enthusiasts. Whether it's a rugged Mark I rally car or a sophisticated Mark III convertible, each model tells a part of this incredible story. Owning one now is a labor of love. They require maintenance, and parts can be a treasure hunt, but the community of owners is incredibly passionate and supportive. Driving one on a winding country road on a sunny day is an experience that modern cars, with all their technology and refinement, struggled to replicate. The Austin-Heeley 3000 is more than just metal, wood, and leather. It's a throwback to a golden age of motoring, a time of passion, style, and pure, unadulterated driving fun. It's a legend that continues to roar, a true British icon that will never be forgotten. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the history of the Big Heeley. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more classic car stories. Let me know in the comments which classic car you'd like to see me cover next. See you in the next one.